Yeah, Alf, I know you didn't want to make this video, but you're being selfish. It's time to spill the beans. How much money do we make off of a YouTube channel with 20,000 subs? We're going to break it all down for you here in this video. But before we do, of course, thanks to our channel partners, PSA. Guys, you need to save money on that first submission, or you probably have a friend that is about to submit with PSA. SCD25 promo code at the shipping and billing screen. It's $25 off and only a 1 card minimum. Make sure to save that $25 off that first submission, or tell a friend so that they can. JustCollect.com, you've got a collection to sell or half the collection, you have no idea where to go with it. The JustCollect.com website has a very easy appraisal form there. Just put the information in, vintage or modern. Leighton Sheldon will help you out there, give you an idea of what it's worth. Also, check out the Just Collect YouTube channel where Leighton is talking to hobbyists, he's talking to industry people, and it's a good time. All right, there's many sports card YouTubers out there that are trying to figure out what does this look like as a channel grows, and also just people that are going to find this video that are just thinking about YouTube in general. And I'm going to go through a variety of different topics here to try to answer as many questions as possible. I want to try to be as useful as possible, not just on the sports card side, but just YouTube as a whole, how it works and what payouts can look like. All right, let's just fire off some numbers right here. So the last 6 months on the channel, the last 6 months here on the Sports Card Dad YouTube channel, when we're looking at YouTube revenue. So this is the ads that pop up as the video is playing. I've got YouTube Premium, and I think if you're somebody that watches a lot of YouTube, I highly recommend it. I think that there is now a $7 or $8 version of this, kind of a watered down version for $7 or $8 so that you don't have to watch ads. And then I've got like YouTube Music attached to it and stuff that kind of replaces like a Spotify where I can have all the music too. And I think I pay like $15 a month. For me that watches a fair amount of YouTube, a huge variety of different things, reaction videos to music, songs, and all sorts of stuff, it makes sense for me. Now, even for the people that have YouTube Premium, you do still get paid when they watch the video. There is still a percentage of that that does come to you. So let's look at the last 6 months for me. So January, a little bit of a slower month, which going back years, that wasn't normally the case. Usually it's people kind of getting over the holidays and they're getting back into the swing, and I get typically at quite a bit of views there. $623 in January. February, $952. March, $866, April, $812. May, the best month so far this year, $1,028, and then June, we're sitting at $248 so far. This can be kind of an addicting thing too, paying attention to the analytics, seeing what the views are, seeing what the views do. Some videos have more views than others, but the CPMs and the RPMs are different. I'll explain that in a second. So there's a lot of times no rhyme or reason. Everybody's trying to figure out the mystery of the YouTube algorithm, and it's always changing and it's very complicated. And if everybody had the algorithm figured out, then everybody would have 1 million views on every video. And that's just not how it works, which I think the mystery of it makes the game of YouTube fun overall for creators. So let me break this down here. If I look over the last 365 days, I'll post a picture up here so you've got screenshots of what's actually happening, proof of it. $10,631.47 over the last 365 days. Now, let me kind of break down what that means for me, the time that's put in, and that sort of a thing. So I put out just about daily videos, 6 or 7 videos per week. I have it down pat really as far as planning the video, recording the video, editing the video, and posting the video. It's 1 hour a day of my time. On the longer end of this, where maybe the video takes a little bit more planning, more research, maybe there's more photos, clips, different things that need to go into it, about 90 minutes. So this is not me editing for 4 hours or 8 hours. This is the B movie. This is like the B horror movie of sports card content. This is not Jeff Wilson, Sports Card Investor. This is not Ryan Card Collector 2. And so this is about 10 to 15 hours of my week in my YouTube channel as far as the actual work goes. But keep in mind, this is very fun work for me. So this is what I enjoy doing. This is also part of my hobby. It's a release for me the same way that looking at cards and researching cards, buying cards, selling, all the stuff that we're all doing here, it's a release for me to do this. So this is fun work for me, 10 to 15 hours a week, and we're 5 years into this as well. So I started March of 2020 for people that are new to this channel or people that are outside of sports cards watching this, trying to get an idea of growth. I'm at 23,000 and change for subscribers. The actual views per month ranges anywhere from, I would say, about 90,000 views a month to as high as about 140, 150,000 views. That's the best I've ever done, is right at that 140, 150,000 views. I don't do a lot of shorts. I don't do many at all. I think I've done a dozen shorts in 5 years. So we'll talk about shorts in a second though. So this is me in front of my iPhone, low budget to no budget, no frills, just talking to you all, having a good time, expressing myself, talking about various hobby topics, collection stuff, and all that sort of a thing. Now, how is this money calculated from YouTube revenue? So you've got CPMs and you've got RPMs. RPMs are revenue per mille, and mille is an Italian word, grazie mille. You might think that means thanks a million. It actually means thanks 1,000.
Hey, paisanos, it's the Super Mario Brothers Super Show!
Because it means revenue per 1,000 views. Now, I'll see if I can post this, but right now, currently, over the last 28 days or whatever it's looking at, it's $10.64 RPM. The RPM is my take as the creator. The CPM is the overall advertiser payout. That's the overall take. So the RPM is after YouTube takes their cut. And so it's $10.64. I'll be honest with you, I've never seen it this high. I've been doing this for 5 years, even during the pandemic, even during kind of crazy, pandemic time frame, I never saw it at $10.64 per 1,000 views. So you're at the mercy of the ad spend, what advertisers are willing to pay for certain types of content. And so this is actually kind of a nice time making sports card content as far as just being able to get paid more per 1,000 views. Now, as we know in sports card content, it's not easy to get 1,000 views. It's not easy to get 500 views a lot of times. So it's still not very much money. Each video that I'm putting out, it might be $20, $25, $30. I'll see if I can post the ones that have done the best, but you can see kind of the top 3 that I've posted there. They're at the $100 up to, I think, $200 is the most I've made over the last, couple of months making a video. So each video, as far as the YouTube revenue pays out, it's going to be in the $25, $30. A good one is $50. It's got 4,000, 5,000 views. Those pay out a little bit more, but you can see there that's a quick gauge if you're trying to figure out what are YouTubers making, what are sports card YouTubers making, and it is $8, $9, $10 per 1,000 views. So if you're looking at Jeff Wilson, if you're looking at Card Collector 2, all you got to do is just take that formula, punch it in. You can figure out just about how they made on each of the videos. Of course, when you're looking at Ryan Card Collector 2 and Jeff Wilson, we're using those as the examples because they're really kind of some of the larger channels in the space. They're also spending a lot of money on production value. There's cameramen, there's editors, so Jeff has explained that's more of a loss leader to then sell other products. And that's really what Card Collector 2 and Jeff are doing with their content. It's more about branding, getting the name out, and advertising products and that sort of thing. Advertising the Whatnot stream that they're doing, or advertising the sale they've got going, or the card show that they've got coming up. So social media is really used it's a mega marketing weapon. It might not be something that you're making a huge amount of money off of if you're a business from content, but you're making it up in other ways, selling products and that sort of a thing, which we will get into next. Oh, actually, before I get into affiliates and affiliate codes and affiliate revenue, sports card shorts. So shorts don't make any money. I'm just going to throw that out there, especially in the sports card space. So you'll see sports card shorts. I'll throw mine up there. I think I made 15 cents over the last 28 days on YouTube Shorts. Granted, I just don't do them. Part of the reason why is, and I know it's silly. It's like a couple of clicks. It's pretty easy to make them and also like turn them into an IG reel and all of that. I just don't, look, I'm not a short-term content guy, the 10-second clips, the 30-second stuff. I'm not there yet, and frankly, I just don't have time to do it. Where shorts can be impactful for your channel is they reach a completely separate audience. I've talked about this before, is you've got kind of the longer form audience, and then you have other people. A lot of times it's a younger generation that's viewing shorts, same with like Instagram Reels and that sort of a thing, or stories. It's a lot of the younger generation. They have a very small attention span. It's a 10-second clip, and a lot of times it's just rolling into somebody's feed. They're not necessarily even choosing it. It's just rolling into their feed, a YouTube short, that sort of a thing. They don't pay anything, but they can get you subscribers. Because it is a separate audience, people will subscribe. They see a cool short, they'll subscribe. The problem though with that is it's shown here, and other YouTubers have talked about this as well, is that they don't necessarily transfer to the long form content. So you'll have subscribers. You might have 10,000 subscribers, but what you're seeing on your long form content is not really an increase in views on the 10-minute video or the hour-long interview or whatever. And it's simply because they just subscribed off of a short and they're really just looking at YouTube shorts. They're not really viewing the hour-long podcast or even the 10-minute video. So Just something to keep in mind there. It's kind of more of a supplemental thing to the channel. It's not a moneymaker. Next up, affiliate codes and affiliate revenue. So I'm going to just throw out some examples of what I make. The eBay affiliate is a big one, and a lot of businesses use this. Sports card channels use it, but also just people that sell stuff on eBay resellers. Here's my eBay, my eBay affiliate code. This month I made a whopping $85. I'm actually getting paid out here in a couple of days. $85 for my eBay affiliate. The most I've ever made on an eBay affiliate is around $450. I don't push it tremendously. It's just kind of in my video description as well as in the pinned comments. Thank you to all those that do use it. I do get a small commission off of purchases there, so very much thank you for that. So the eBay affiliate is one. I will tell you, there are folks in the sports card space, I won't name names, but make six figures off of the eBay affiliate code. So there are folks that do make a lot of money from the eBay affiliate. It just depends on your reach, what type of business do you have. There's a lot of moving parts to it. SlabMags. I've got my SlabMags code, which, hey, don't forget, 10% off Sports Card Dad code at slabmags.com. 10% off your entire order. And like I've said before, I'm one of the only ones left with a code. So if you want money off SlabMags, Sports Card Dad code at the SlabMags website. I make anywhere from $200 to upwards of maybe $500 a month. I think $600 in a month is the most I've ever made off of the SlabMags affiliate. Of course, it just pays me off of every order. It's just a nice kind of supplement to what I'm doing. Affiliate revenue can be a nice way to supplement kind of that. As you can see, the YouTube revenue, for some people that might be a lot of money. It's all relative, really. And for some, it might be like, man, that's peanuts. That's not worth the time. It's all relative to what you're trying to achieve. But that's why, for me, I just chose to have kind of more of a well-rounded offering there. And again, I'll get grief for it. Some people just dislike sponsorships or affiliates and all that sort of thing. And that's okay. People are allowed to watch whatever they want, and they're allowed to feel however they want. I appreciate those that do watch and kind of hang in there with me. So for affiliates, I've had, stuff, it can be a couple $100s a month. I've had some affiliates that pay in the $1,000 a month. And what's kind of fun about affiliates is you never really know how that's going to go. It varies dramatically. For some affiliates, it might be $200 one month and it's $800 the next. I enjoy the fun of that. So that's what affiliates can do for you. And this is sports cards, but we're going to actually talk about just keywords and channels as a whole here, and how I'm sure that a lot of certain channels make an absolute killing on affiliate links. So I talked earlier about $10.64 RPM and CPMs, kind of what the payout is, what advertisers are paying per 1,000 views. A good resource is the Google Ads Keyword Planner to try to figure out which categories pay. Because you might be really into gardening. You might be like, man, I love gardening. But if you're trying to run it as a business, you're trying to make money from the YouTube, you've got to figure out what advertisers pay for gardening videos. And it might be small, it might be large. I don't know, I haven't looked it up, but we've looked up here. I've thrown in sports cards and I've thrown in credit cards into the keyword planner to give us an idea of kind of what advertisers are paying low bid versus high bid. For sports cards, 45 cents on the low bid, and sports cards is the keyword, $6 at the top of the range. For credit cards, the low end of the range, $5.78. On the high end of the range, $15.65. Now, this can vary, and I've seen the Google Ads Keyword Planner kind of be all over the place. The data is not 100% accurate, but it does give a baseline. It does give you an idea of what certain keywords pay versus others. And if you look at just overall searches, because that's also important as well, sports cards, 10,000 to 100,000 searches per month. Credit cards, 100,000 to 1,000,000 searches per month. And where you really get into the nitty gritty, and this is kind of similar to sports cards. Okay, there's a new set that comes out, 2024 Prism Football. That's going to be very popular around release. So if you're releasing sports card videos right around release of that, when people are searching for it, you can pick up, or box opening of. That's why Breakers, that's why a lot of the pack openers, Pac-Man, that's why he's got 300,000 subs, is because as soon as that new product hits and they break it, they open it. Run Good Life, shout out to James, Run Good Life. They're opening that brand new product, and guess who's searching for it as soon as it opens to see what the hits are, see what the cards and designs look like? It's viewers. They're looking for that stuff. And so they'll find a Run Good Life, they'll find a Pac-Man, they'll watch the video. And additionally, those videos have a little bit of staying power because a year from now, somebody will still look back and say, you know what, let's look, well, what's 2020 Prism football box openings? What did those look like? They'll go back in time and watch those videos. So there's a little bit of an evergreen to it. You kind of get the best of both worlds where you're capturing the new product audience that's trying to find that new product. But then 5 years from now, they will be looking back and saying like, oh, cool, I want to see what happened. 2020 Prism Joe Burrows. What happened there? You know, and if you have huge hits that are on YouTube, they'll find it. And so there is some evergreen possibilities there. It's kind of a perfect storm if you are someone that opens boxes on YouTube. Now with credit cards, people are always looking at what's the best credit card for this? What's the lowest interest rate or whatever? Which credit cards are hot? Is it, you know, MX Platinum? And so you might make a video of all the benefits of the MX Platinum card. And if you look at the keyword planner for that, it might be $50 per 1,000 views. And it's simply because the advertisers will pay a lot more when we're looking at finance, credit cards, personal finance, you know, all that sort of a thing. They are searching for that. If you're able to gain audience in those groups, those financial sectors, offering information. I'm using credit cards as an example because it has high keyword payouts. And if you're able to offer information on it, your experience with it, there is opportunity. That is an example of something that pays very well if you can break into that particular niche. Now, it's competitive. Lots of people trying to do it. I'm not the only one that figured this out. There's a lot of people in that space. But the good news is you can have 1,000 subscribers, 2,000, 3,000 subscribers in the credit card space and do very well, more so than maybe someone that's got 50,000 people subs in the sports card space. So something to just kind of keep in mind. If you're running this as a business or you're looking at YouTube as a moneymaker or kind of a side income or whatever it is, things to kind of keep in mind here. All right, and last but certainly not least, company sponsorship deals in sports cards. I'm going to leave you with a little bit of a cliffhanger here for a possible part 2. Do you want to hear more about sponsorships, what companies pay out, or kind of general idea of this? I can give a general idea of what this looks like based on my experience, but I need to know from you. I need to hear from you in the comment section. If you stayed all the way through to the end of the video, do you want to hear more information around company sponsorship deals? And if I decide to make another video talking about this, I can talk about it whether we're talking about our little niche here in sports cards, and I can also expound on it as well in other industries and that sort of a thing. But look, I think this is all fun, whether you're treating this as a business that you're living off of, or if you're treating this as a supplement to another business. Look, I'm a big believer in if you were going to sell any sort of a product or service in 2025 and beyond, you have to have a social media presence, but even more so, a YouTube presence. You have to have a YouTube presence, I believe, for that business to really blossom, to build your brand out there, even more so than all the other social medias. Thanks for joining me here today, guys, just to kind of talk through. This is an extension of my hobby. I love cards and collectibles, clearly. Alf would not be here if I was not that 80s, 90s nostalgia guy. So let me know your thoughts, friends, and I'm always available if you want to reach out to me. I'm on IG at SportsCardDad. That's probably the easiest way to get a hold of me if you do have any questions around this. I'm not any sort of a social media expert, not any sort of digital agency or any sort of digital expert at all, but I can share what I've learned here over the last 5 years. Friends, have an amazing day ahead. Stay healthy, stay awesome, and I will talk to you again later.